on with a walk. That will bring Wrigley McGuire to the plate with a couple of base runners aboard. Keegan Graff moves to the on-deck circle. Shout out Clark and BMO from Baylor. An attempt to bunt. McGuire offered, comes up empty. And it is 0-1. Keegan Graff moves to the on-deck circle. McGuire wrapped into the 4-3 in the first. Bunt's foul, 2-strike count. Question now for McGuire, do you try to lay down the bunt with 2 strikes? Shout out says, put Zach Clark in the game. Hashtag free peanut. Love Eric. Adrian Madero watching you on the TV. Good arm kid. Love grandma and grandpa. Adrian Madero. Mama loves you. Go get him, kiddo. And by the way, Adrian Madero is about to make Twitter and Facebook one of the highlight clips. Though it wasn't an out, just the great stop over behind third and the strong throw over. That throw goes to the screen and it gets base runners on the move. Carmona will go to third and Vasquez now the base runner at second. 1 ball, couple of strikes on Wrigley McGuire. Let's go Adrian Madero from Dad in Tucson, Arizona. High with the toss. Countyman's up 2 apiece on McGuire. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, nobody gone. Out of the strike zone, and the count will run full. Back into the box, the left-hander goes on the hill, the right-hander Kyler Bumstead. Here's the payoff pitch, couple of base runners on. It is fouled back and we'll get another payoff pitch. A single by Carmona begins the inning. He's still second. Vasquez is walked. Both advance on a wild pitch. And now with a 3-2 offering coming to Wrigley McGuire. Prohammer with another excellent opportunity to plate runs here in the top part of the inning, and the bases all loaded as Bumstead issues back-to-back walks. Vasquez and then McGuire. So the bases all loaded, nobody gone. Keegan Graff steps in. Adrian Madero moves to the on-deck circle. Shout out to the Moses Lake River Dogs, 16U team, 3-1 in tournament play, playing against the big boys. Happy birthday, Coach Baker from Prohammer in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Adrian Madero, give me a good hit from Tats Madero in Tucson, Arizona. Big shout out to Mid-County number 7, Cody Cobb from Dad, watching from work in Nederland. Watching Uncle Jimmy Collins coach those Mid-County boys from Prosper, Texas. Love Kathy Carter and Brindley. 0-1 on Keegan Graff with the bases loaded. And Bumstead in a bit of a bind with nobody out. Shout out to my Mid-County boys. Bring me back a World Series championship. Landon Hiltz from Nederland, Texas. Adrian Madero moves to the on-deck circle. Top of the third, bases full, nobody out. Driven towards center field. Cobb will not be able to get to it until after it's hopped in the grass. And the Keegan Graff single drives in Carmona, Tucson, Arizona on the board. Vasquez moves to third, McGuire to second. Graff the base runner at first, still loaded up. Still nobody gone, and Adrian Madero, the cleanup hitter, to the plate. Madero with a pop out to short his previous at-bat. Shout out to Burke Baydon. We wish you the best of luck watching from Groves, Texas. Love Brooke, Peyton, and Oliver. Adrian Madero watching you from School, in class, love your cousin Kaylee. Vasquez boys cheering for you from your friends at Caremore Health Plan. 0-2 on Madero. John Dormanen moving to the on-deck circle. Still nobody out, 1 run in. Tucson, Arizona taking the lead here in the top part of the third. When you get to the bottom part of the inning, it's the 8, 9, and 10 spots due up for Southwest Regional Champion Mid-County, Texas. Fouled off and stays 0-2. Shout-outs in the third and fourth innings only, so if you're going to become one of the spectators, one of the texting spectators, it's kind of a virtual reality fan in the stands. You got the third and fourth to do it. Bumstead comes, sets, delivers the 0-2, goes a little wide, 1 ball, couple of strikes, trying to tempt Madero with something low and away. Do your thing, boys. Go Pro Hammer, bring the win. Here is the 1-2 offering. Again, fouled off. Let's go Ryberg. Be a vacuum out there in center from your brother and the Chili's crew in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for watching, Chili's. So proud of you, Zach Freeze. Love Aunt Glenna, Maggie, and Maddie. And don't forget, if you got a crew watching, a watch party, or just gathered around the big screen, if you are in a Beef O'Brady's in Kentucky or a Chili's in Arizona, snap a photo, share it with us on Facebook. Trying to reach in and make the catch. And his first baseman, Chase Kemp. That would be one of those questionable calls. There is a white line that determines dead ball territory. So if he makes the catch, then you look at the feet and determine where the feet are when the catch is made. The interesting thing, though, where rules are concerned and a catch like that, let's say the feet are outside of the line and he legitimately makes the catch, the runners can still advance. And I'm not talking about advance from the standpoint of like a fly ball, you know, you tag up and go. If you bounced off the bag, you can still advance if it's caught over there with feet in. But it's all for naught. He didn't make the catch, and besides that, I think the feet were across the line regardless. Count even, 2 each on Madero. John Dorman will follow. Cheering for you, Vasquez boys. Love Mom, Dad, and family. Go Mid-County. Case Babineau, your girlfriend's daddy is watching from Big Need. Come on, Mid-County boys, you can do this. Swing and a miss, and out goes Madero. Out of the top of the third. Base is still loaded, this time for John Dormanen, as Sean Fanning steps to the on-deck circle. John Dorman in one previous plate appearance. It happened an inning ago when he popped out to Cody Cobb in center field. And speaking of Cody, shout out to number 7, Cody Cobb. Go Mid-County, Uncle Chris Cobb, watching from Las Vegas, Nevada. Hi in Las Vegas. We do a little work there. I think last November we were at the MGM doing a little college basketball. It gets warm in Las Vegas, but you gotta love the interstate that allows you to legitimately drive 80, which of course means 87 for me. I just, you know, think that I've been given a 7-mile additional range on the speed, but thank you very much, Vegas. Let's go, Jacob Vaughn. Bella and I are cheering you on from home. Popped up, but out of play. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Base is full. Graff at first, McGuire at second. Vasquez is at third. Good luck to the Kemp boys from Nederland, Texas, from the Fernandez crew. Let's go mid-county for the love of the game. Shout out to my brother Wrigley. I'm watching with the GOAT in Tucson. A drive towards right field, going back. Vaughn. Did he make the catch? No, it's out of the park. A grand slam delivered. John Dormanen. Dormanen comes in. Graff comes in. It is McGuire and Vasquez as well. For a moment, looked like Devon had made the improbable until he came down with nothing in the mitt. You didn't know for sure. And somebody's out on the run around. And it is John Dormanen. I am wondering if John Dormanen passed a runner on the base path. Well, let's see if we can go back and see. There doesn't seem to be much of an argument. And there you see the official pointing to John Dormanen saying you're out.
2 outs. 2. The batter runner is out for passing a runner.
Passing a runner. There it is. You know, I saw that one time in a high school state championship game where a hitter passed a runner. And in this particular case, years ago, a home run had been hit. There was a guy at first and second, and it was a dramatic part of the ball game. The hitter drives it over the wall. The two on board are waiting to make sure it clears the wall, while the guy that hit it got so excited he passed the guy at first. And apparently something similar happened as John Dormanen apparently passed Keegan Graff. So Dormanen is out. The 3 prior runs will count. Vasquez will come in, McGuire will come in, and Graff will come in and score as well. But Dormanen got just a little excited on the home run and apparently passed Graff on the base path and is out. 2 away for Sean Fanning. Been doing baseball a long time, and that's the second time that I've seen that in probably, I could legitimately say 15,000 games. Here's the 1-1 offering. I wonder how you score that officially, though. It's still a home run. Is it a grand slam? No, I mean, you didn't get the 4 runs. So I guess it's a 3-run shot. Be interesting to find out what the appropriate verbiage is to describe what initially was going to drive in 4 and winds up driving in 3. Sean Fanning with a single his last at-bat, stole a base, got to third, drives this one towards left field, going back. It will hit at the base of the fence and hit the fence on the 1-hopper. Retrieved by Jacob Vaughn. Sean Fanning standing at second with a double. And it looks like this Pro Hammer team wants to play more baseball. A 4-zip lead, and now Fanning with a double. And Mark Isla's coming to the plate. Isla's the extra player, had a single his last at-bat, fouled up against the screen. 8 at-bats into the top of the 3rd. And a 4-zip Tucson, Arizona lead. If Tucson were to win, they would finish 2-2 in pool play, and there again would have to hope for a Vancouver win. Nothing in 2 on Islas. Nano Vasquez moving to the on-deck circle. A glance to the base runner. Bumstead will look at Fanning. And that toss will get Fanning to third. into the dirt and back to the screen. Well, let's get to more shout-outs. Get her done. Zach Clark from Paw Paw and Granny in Silsbee, Texas. Love you, Peanut. Shout out to the umpire and grounds crew, all doing a super job. Lifted towards center field. Cobb will drift back a few, make the catch. Islas with a fly out. Kept on is Fanning. One base runner left aboard, but Tucson, Arizona with a big top part of the third. The home run. Dorman, it looked like he had the grand slam. Well, we're not sure what it turned out to be, but it drove in 3. 4-zip score, Arizona.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
I'm sorry, Keegan.
4-run score in the top part of the inning. 3 on a John Dorman and home run. Jesse Carmona came in and scored on the Keegan Graff single. And Tucson, Arizona with a 4-zip lead over Nederland, Texas. Heading into the bottom of the third, Jacob Vaughn, Devon Anderson, Brandon Cluck due up in the inning too. More of your shout-outs. Way to go, Carmona. So proud of you. Bring it home. Love, Mom. Great job, MC and Coach Jimmy. Love, Kay, Todd, and Collins Gidry in Nederland, Texas. So proud of these Mid-County boys. Watch party from Nederland. Case, your mama loves you. Let's go, MC. So proud of y'all. Coach Ben's family in Nederland. Watching from our host house in Ephrata. Nice play by Madera. And Vaughn hits into the 5-3 for out number 1. Devon Anderson to the plate with 1 away and nobody aboard. Watching from our host house in Ephrata while our New Jersey boys are out with their parents. Andrea Madera and team jumping off cliffs at the lake, cliffs rather, at the lake, enjoying Washington. Well, apparently in the off time there was some cliff jumping. Fouled out of play by Devon Anderson. And of course, Devon Anderson already on Facebook and Twitter, hashtag Babe Ruth WS. Take a gander at his big play and others. Gus Orno watching at work in Port Arthur, Texas. Hey, the watch parties, we need photos. Share them with Jock Jive Sports on Facebook. I mean, it's not that we don't believe it, we do, but we just, you know, want some additional proof and a caption and a big shot of the big watch party. Thinking about it was Anderson. Drops out of the strike zone and the count will even up. An appeal down to first to see if Anderson went. But there at first, Dennis, I'll make that Brian Straggy says no, he did not. 2-1 toss to Anderson. Missing the strike zone. Big day of baseball here in Ephrata, where temperatures are expected to get to 100 plus again. Of course, they've been expected to hit such earlier, but haze and smoke kept that from happening. A walk issued to Anderson. And the base runner on for Mid-County, Texas. They had a couple of base runners in the second, both stranded. And now they have got a base runner aboard. Here in the bottom part of the third, Brandon Cluck coming to the plate. 101 is the expected high today. Currently 89 degrees in Ephrata, feels like 90, 21% humidity. Northeast winds at 5. The American flag tells me what the winds are like at Johnson O'Brien Stadium, and that flag barely budging. And that is a balk that will get Anderson to second. John Dormanen charged with a balk. And let's see if we can pick up what happened. Didn't come set. And the ball gets Anderson over into scoring position for Brandon Cluck. Cluck asking for time. Visibility 5 miles, UV index of 6 here in Ephrata. And again, haze and smoke because of forest fires in the state that have consumed better than 1 million acres. Air quality alert in effect here for the extreme northwest. And I mentioned yesterday, even in the local paper, the Weekly, made readers aware that N95 filter masks are available at City Hall. Into the strike zone, the count evens at 1. Brandon Cluck getting his first at-bat of the contest. Here in the bottom of the third, Cody Cobb has moved to the on-deck circle. Shout-outs in the third and fourth, just about an inning left. To do such, 334-488-1385. Going to his knees to swing and miss, Brandon Cluck. Cody Cobb, who popped out to right field, is on deck. Vaughn out on the 5-3. Anderson got aboard, compliments of the walk. The walk followed by a balk. And it got Anderson to second. 1 ball and a couple of strikes on Cluck. That apparently foul. And it stays 1 ball and a couple of strikes. Busy Major League Baseball schedule for today, and already at least 1 game in progress. We'll get you updated on what's going on in MLB momentarily. Base runner at second is Devon Anderson. Cluck batting. Cobb waiting his chance next. Top of the 9th, Indians with the 2-1 lead over the Rockies. Midway through the 8th, the Rangers lead the Mets 5-1. Several more afternoon games. Mariners and the Athletics, Orioles and Angels, Cubs and Giants. Popped up in the direction of Jesse Carmona in right field. He will make the catch, and having to hold at second is Devon Anderson. 2 gone as we go back to the top of the order. Games tonight, Rays and Red Sox. Nationals and Marlins. Yankees have the Blue Jays, Tigers, and the Pirates. Padres, Reds, Braves, Phillies, Astros, White Sox. Brewers hosting the Twins. Cards, the Royals, and the D-backs have the Dodgers. 2 gone. Base runner at second is Anderson. Back to the top of the order we go with Cody Cobb stepping in. Logan Lasjun moves to the on-deck circle. Watching from Tucson at work. Go get him, Pro Hammer. Into the strike zone to Cobb. 53 minutes in the bottom of the third, and due primarily to a rather active top part of this inning. A top part that saw Tucson, Arizona plate 4 runs. 1 hopped right back to Dormanen. Over to first to get Cobb on the 1-3. 1 base runner gets on. It's compliments of a Dormanen walk. That base runner stays on. Nobody scores in the home half of the third. Tucson by 4 and going to the 4th.
Today's Best Western is more rewarding than ever. Rewards members get our best rates every stay. And with rewards points that never expire. You get more free nights at over 4,200 hotels worldwide, gift cards, and instant rewards. Now get a $10 gift card with every night you stay. Let's go get rewarded. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Before the final touches were made, before the swing was built, before the trees were there, before the holes were dug, before any of that, a call was made so all underground lines could be marked. So the holes could be dug, the trees could be planted, the swing could be built, and the final touches made to a picture-perfect project. Dream, plan, prepare. Call 811 before you dig.
Brandon Cluck is the new pitcher, and your new third baseman is Zach Clark, as Mid-County Texas makes some adjustments. Zach Clark, by the way, will bat in this spot previously occupied by the pitcher Kyler Bumstead, so he will hit in the 7 spot and play third. And as I mentioned, that new pitcher is Brandon Cluck, moving in from third. Quick look at the numbers for Bumstead. He will work a total of 3 innings and get 2 strikeouts. Faces, by the way, a total of 18. The number of walks, I will scan through and tell you there were 2, and they were back-to-back when Vasquez and McGuire came to the plate. Gives up 8 hits and gives up 4 runs. So there are your Bumstead numbers. 3 innings, 18 faced, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, 8 hits given up, 4 runs as well. And Brandon Cluck will step in to pitch for Mid-County Texas, facing Nano Vasquez, Addison Ryberg, and Jesse Carmona. 8, 9, and 10. Vasquez, a strikeout victim in the second. 1 of 2 Ks for Bumstead. Now facing the new pitcher, Brandon Cluck. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Vasquez, out of the strike zone, 2-0. On Twitter and Facebook, some big Vasquez plays. Again, hashtag Babe Ruth WS to access. Hashtag WS. High and inside. Of course, you got to have Babe Ruth in between the hashtag and the WS. Hashtag Babe Ruth WS to watch the big Vasquez plays and many others. James and I this morning running through our minds the list of big plays, and we've hit just about every position. I mean, there have been big plays during the tournament defensively from just about every spot on the diamond. Another high pitch, and Vasquez on.
Reporting to center fielder Addison Ryberg.
Addison Ryberg with a base runner aboard. Jesse Carmona moves to the on-deck circle. Tucson, Arizona trying to pick up the win. There is at least one team, well, I guess really 2. Obviously, Mid-County Texas is not really interested in a Tucson win. But there's one other squad that does not need Tucson to win, and that's Vancouver. If Tucson, Arizona wins this one over Mid-County Texas, then Vancouver is out. They could still play a role in who gets in or out, but they are not in. There is a base hit by Addison Ryberg. Meanwhile, Vasquez will travel to third. Runners on the corners in the top of the 4th for Tucson.
Andy, brother. Let's go, Jesus. Andy, brother. Let's go, Jesus. Let's go, Jesus. Jesse, just like last time. Now hit hard.
Jesse Carmona coming to the plate with that 1 spot left in the National Division. Of course, 1 is occupied by Mid-County Texas, 2 by Moses Lake Washington. There is 1 spot left. And where Tucson is concerned, to have a shot, they need a win. And what they need is a win and a Vancouver win. And Vancouver needs a loss because Vancouver, the best they can do is finish 1-3. Throw goes down to third. Safely there is Vasquez. To second goes Ryber. Jesse Carmona with the base runners at second and third. Tucson, Arizona coming into this contest 1-2. They had a victory over Vancouver and then losses to Blue Lick and Moses Lake. But if they come away with a victory here, they would improve to 2-2, which would mean Vancouver 0-3 with one game to go could not get in. However, it would mean that if Blue Lick wins over Vancouver, then Tucson's out. So you've got to have, for Tucson, you've got to have a victory 1, and then you've got to have a Vancouver win, number 2, for Tucson to get in. If Tucson wins this one and Blue Lick wins, then it doesn't matter what they've done in this one. Meanwhile, Vancouver needs a mid-county victory over Tucson because they need a three-way tie plus a victory over Blue Lick. So Vancouver needs mid-county Texas to win. They need to defeat Blue Lick, create that three-way tie for the last spot, and then hope that a tiebreaker scenario gives them the edge. But if you get a Blue Lick loss to Vancouver, then you've got a Blue Lick squad that is 1-3. If Tucson wins, they are 2-2. So Tucson's in. So those scenarios still in existence, trying to determine that one last spot between three teams. And that is what has made today's baseball so interesting. As we are here in the top part of the fourth. I know it gets a bit confusing. And as a matter of fact, when you're running through the scenarios, chances are you miss one of the scenarios. But the way it looks, and again, this is all unofficially, not from Babe Ruth officials, but from taking a look at the standings, Mid-County 1 at 3-0 currently. Moses Lake 2 currently at 2-1. And even if Moses Lake, well, Moses Lake actually finished their pool play last night. They are 3-1. So it is 3-0 currently Mid-County, hoping to go 4-0. If not, they go 3-1. But if they finish 3-1, they beat Moses Lake. So no matter what happens, Mid-County, Texas is 1, Moses Lake is 2. It is that 3 spot up for grabs. Out of the strike zone. Bases all loaded with DeMarco Vasquez batting. Here's your scenario. Blue Lick wins. They are in, even if Tucson wins, because Blue Lick has beaten Tucson. Blue Lick loss, well, then they need a Mid-County victory, because if Tucson wins, Tucson's in. Vancouver needs a win and a Mid-County victory as well to force a 3-way tie between Kentucky, Arizona, and Vancouver, Washington to determine that last spot. Walk issued to Vasquez, and it was with the bases loaded. Another Vasquez, Nano will come in. And the base is still loaded for Wrigley McGuire. And I know what Tucson, Arizona fans are asking in this moment, and that is, where has this Pro Hammer team been? 9 hits to 1, 5 runs to none. And McGuire coming to the plate with the bases still full, and it looks like Cluck is going to get another visit. I can't recall if Coach was a part of the previous one. If he was, that's it for Cluck. Well, I guess if he was, then he's got the baseball from Cluck. If he wasn't, he said, what the heck? Gonna put a new guy in. 5-zip. Pro Hammer, bases full, top of the 4th.
On the train test range, you learn what makes our heating and cooling systems so reliable. If there's a breaking point, we'll find it. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable for a reason.
Just about all White Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. New pitcher on the hill, Connor McGrath. Let's take a look again at the scenario in the National Division. I know it seems sometimes it is complex, but Blue Lick wins, they're in. No matter what happens in this one, even if Tucson wins, if Blue Lick in the game that follows knocks off Vancouver, they are in. A Blue Lick loss would require a Mid-County Texas win, or loss, really. But Blue Lick will lose and Tucson wins. Tucson's in. Vancouver, they've got to have a Tucson loss. They've got to win, and then you've got to hope that the three-way tiebreaker scenario pulls into their favor. It is interesting that you go into the last day of pool play and you've got a team that hasn't won a game, but that team still got a chance to get in. Admittedly, they are not particularly pleased with what is happening currently, however, because if Tucson goes on to win, then you enter the contest in game number 2 of the day knowing you haven't got a chance. And then you've got to play a spoiler's role because Blue Lick is the one that has the motivation to win. And the only thing that a Vancouver win would do is keep Blue Lick out. It is hit to first, thrown home by Kemp. Gets the force out there. And there's one away. So McGuire wrapping into the 3-2 for out number 1. Carmona goes to third. At second is Vasquez. McGuire, the base runner, at first. One away, Keegan Graff coming to the plate. Connor McGrath is the new pitcher. It is hit to short. Freeze's got it to second. Throw on to first. Will not get to, and another run will plate. In from third comes Carmona as Graff hits into the 6-4. Vasquez goes to third. Carmona scoring the 6th Tucson, Arizona run of the game. And by the way, I see that our scorekeeper has posted 7. Let me explain too, when what may be reality is there's a base hit into left field. That will drive in Vasquez. It is compliments of Adrian Madera. Graff will go to second. Madera with the RBI single is at first. And I believe it is a 7-zip lead. Now the scoreboard is tacked on another. I'm going to go back and make sure, but, and they typically are right and I am wrong. That's kind of the common thing. But our graphics are tied into the official scoreboard. So when they post things there, then you see them on our board, and that's why you now see 11. So I'm not sure what's going on over in the booth adjoining. And there you have the right score. 7-zip. Well, they just bumped the wrong button. So you had Vasquez, McGuire, Graff, and Carmona coming in the third. Here in the fourth, you've got Vasquez, and Carmona. And it is a 7-zip score. Do want to say thanks very much, though, to the folks over in the booth adjoining, because, you know, I've mentioned just about everybody else and all that they do, the groundskeepers, the scorekeepers, all the people that make this possible, the bore-offs who have certainly done a fantastic job in providing some spots that we can get you camera angles, eye fiber. But what about the scorekeeper? They're doing that pitch count, those outs, those innings. So they've got a responsibility that they may not even know. So let's kind of keep it quiet. They may charge me. Now they know we're tied in over there, but thank you very much to the official scorekeeper playing a role for the broadcast too. Count even, 2 apiece on Dormanen. Fly out to center field by Dormanen. And then a home run that drives in 3. High toss, runners go. Looks like runners are, well, I thought they might be out. But able to get safely to third is Graff. To second is Madera. Got the double steal. A pole hindering our view there. Let's take a look from here and see if Graff indeed got to the bag. He might have been tagged out right on the helmet. But it's all irrelevant as Dormanen wraps into the 4-3. 3 more runs will plate for Pro Hammer. They have had their most impressive game of the World Series, taking a 7-zip lead into the bottom of the 4th on Jock Jive Sports.
Ephrata is strategically located in the center of Washington State. The Port of Ephrata can meet your intermodal transportation and supply chain needs via road, rail, or air. Our most recently available property are 2 buildings that combine for 100,000 square feet of high bay heavy manufacturing space with multiple bridge cranes installed. When the workday is over, take advantage of the plentiful recreation opportunities in the area. Bring your business back to center in Ephrata, a center for commerce, a center for opportunity, and a centered life.
For more than 50 years, Tomer Construction has been helping build the Pacific Northwest. We've led successful projects throughout the area involving portable rock crushing, road construction, land clearing, land leveling, bridge construction, and structural concrete. We also offer fill material, sand, and gravel for your everyday landscape needs. For a free quote, call today, 509-787-3312. Tomer Construction, we're ready to serve you.
We promised your shout-outs through the 4th. Got more to get to. Shout-out to Devon Anderson from Dad, Mom, Denisha, Demaria, and Dakara. Thanks for making us proud. And Tucson, Arizona fans pretty proud right now with a 7-10-0 line score. 1 Nederland, Texas base hit. It was Connor McGrath. And this Texas squad that has finished as the #1 team in the National Division, not playing like the team we have seen at least in the 3 previous games, but there again, at least maybe one variable to consider is the lack of significance of the game for Texas. They've got the 1 spot and they get Thursday off regardless. Hashtag says peanuts free. Hashtag the beast is unleashed. Good luck Mid-County. Brandon Morris, number 17. Go BMO. We love you. Grammy and Peepaw in Groves, Texas. Shout out to number 7, Cody Cobb. Go Mid-County. Uncle Chris Cobb watching from the Sun Coast Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, if you win big, can we give you an address? I mean, do we get like a percentage? A percentage for providing the stream? Listen, I know I'm stretching trying to find some logic for wanting to grab part of the winnings. Guys doing what they normally do in the midpoint of the 4th, and that is drag the field manually. Getting all the bumps and all the little pebbles out of the way to make for a smooth path down the stretch. Logan Lasjune leading things off. Chase Kemp, Zach Freeze due up in the inning 2. In towards center field, Addison Reimer can't make the catch. Slides into the base of the fence. Logan Lejeune pulls into second with a double. And Texas fans hoping that's the leadoff base hit that gets things underway for the Mid-County Texas squad. Chase Kemp coming to the plate with the base runner on. Shout out to M&S in Beaumont, Texas. Thanks so much, M&S and Beaumont. We make frequent trips through Beaumont on the way to Houston. Good to have Beaumont watching coverage. Chase Kemp with a fly out to center field. That happened in the first. Zach Freeze moves to the on-deck circle. Lejeune with a leadoff double. Here in a 7-0 contest, Mid-County first goal trying to get rid of the goose egg. John Dormanen has pitched a 2-hitter to this point. Connor McGrath was the only other base hit. He had a single in the second. One ball, no strikes on Kemp. Here's the 1-0 offering. Dormanen with a look to Lejeune. Delivers out of the strike zone, 2-0. From Sacramento, California, go Pro Hammer, number 35, Wrigley. I love you, Katie. John Dormanen has slowed the pace down significantly between pitches with a base runner on. 3, 4, 5 glances to second, and now Dorman will step off the back. Hey, Marcus and Kelly and Uncle Craig loves you. As the shout-outs continue here in the bottom of the fourth. Nobody gone, a base runner at second. Into the strike zone, 2-1. Dormanen, 1 strikeout in the game. As a matter of fact, it was of the gentleman now at second, Logan Lejeune, and that happened back in the first. Has only given up a pair of hits and has walked 2 thus far. Two-one toss. That's into right field. Lejeune will hold at first, brought in quickly by Carmona, but back-to-back base hits have Mid-County in business in the bottom of the fourth. Zach Freeze coming to the plate. Walked in the second, but got picked off by Dormanen. Vasquez drifting behind the runner at that time, Zach Freeze, and picked him off. Brooke Baydun moving to the on-deck circle. And that is another play that you can find on Twitter and on Facebook. Hashtag Babe Ruth WS. Hashtag Babe Ruth WS. And of course also John Dormanen's round tripper. It's another one of the big plays that is now on Facebook and Twitter. Talk about a little tarnishment to the Grand Slam. As this one is lifted in the direction of Carmona on the run, right field, able to make the basket catch. Coming home, it is Lejeune. He will tag up and score, turns the Zach Freeze shot into a sac fly, and Texas has their first run of the game.
The 14, the catcher, Burt Beatty.
On the run like Carmona was, that was not a particularly deep shot, and if Carmona's not on the run, if he's simply sitting there waiting on the fly ball, Lejeune might not tag and go. But Carmona had to field on the run and did not have an opportunity to position himself to make a strong throw to the plate to try to get Lejeune. Into left field, there is a base hit from Burt Baydun. It will travel all the way to the wall. That means Kemp is on his way to third. He's told to hold up there, a double for Baydun, and a couple of Mid-County Texas players in scoring position.
Number 18, the pitcher, Connor McGrath.
Burke Badon delivering into left field. Kemp and Badon aboard. Connor McGrath stepping into the batter's box. Yeah, you can do a little dance step when you get a double and bring a teammate to third. Burke Badon with a celebration of sorts. Outside of the strike zone to McGrath. Until this inning, McGrath was the possessor of the only mid-county base hit. He had a single back in the second. Obviously, things have changed, though, with the double from Lajun, the single by Kemp, and the double by Badon. Count evens up at 1 on McGrath. Zach Clark is on deck. Mid-County, Texas on the board here in the bottom of the fourth. Shout out says, great hit, Burke from the Rocks. 2-1 on Connor McGrath. Well, regardless of what happens in this one, Texas will get tomorrow off. Tucson does not want tomorrow off. If they aren't playing baseball tomorrow, then their World Series has come to an end. Into the strike zone and the count evens. And we showed you the scenario earlier. A win in Tucson is not necessarily in, but a win and a Vancouver victory gets them in. A win and a Blue Lick win, and they're still out. Hit foul. The one thing that a Tucson victory would verify, though, is that Vancouver would be out. So Vancouver, who is waiting to play next against Blue Lick, needs a mid-county victory. Here's the 2-2 offering. McGrath awaits, watches it sail out of the strike zone. And again, over in the American Division, it's a little different scenario. There's one team out, and there's still 2 spots open. And as I mentioned earlier, with the current advantage, but certainly doesn't mean they're in, the current advantage belongs to Ephrata and Cape Cod. A Mount Olive win tonight over Ephrata, dependent on the score, as this one is lifted towards left field. There to make the catch is Fanning, tagging from third. That is Kemp, and he will score on the sac fly from McGrath. But there are still paths to bracket play for Mount Olive. There are still means by which both Cape Cod and Ephrata could not get in, but admittedly those are going to be difficult paths. And to go into the scenarios, it's complex, because if you've got tiebreaker situations, which if Mount Olive knocks off Ephrata, you would have, then you go into the number of runs allowed. Coming into today, I can give you that information. It is wrapped into center field. Zach Clark delivering with a shot that's going to bring in McGrath, and slowly but surely, Mid-County Texas is climbing back into the game. So Clark, the base runner at first, as in comes Badon. 3 runs played here in the fourth. Jacob Vaughn, who wrapped into the 5-3, coming to the plate. By the way, if you thought Texas was going to roll over and play dead, well, that's probably inaccurate. You do not advance as a regional champion, any of the teams, by not facing some form of adversity during the course of a season and a postseason. So though Tucson still has the leads, and though it is still 4, it certainly isn't quite as comfortable as that 7-run advantage coming into the bottom of the 4th. And again, there's one team that's ecstatic about the fact that Mid-County might be getting back into the game, and that is Vancouver. I was talking about, though, the American Division, and if you go into a tiebreaker scenario, if Mount Olive beats Ephrata, then you go into how many runs have been allowed by the potential 3 teams involved in a tie. Well, coming into today, now keep in mind Cape Cod has finished their play, and Ephrata and Mount Olive still have a game. As there you look at the American Division, it's more cut and dried. And Ephrata win, and Ephrata's 2, Cape Cod's 3. Mount Olive win, and then you've got that tiebreaker scenario. And when you look at the tiebreaker scenario, as I mentioned, you keep in mind that Cape Cod is finished with pool play. Ephrata and Mount Olive still have a game. But number of runs allowed thus far, Cape Cod 18, that's through 4 games. Mount Olive has allowed 16, that is through 3 games. And Ephrata has allowed 8, that's in 3 games. Swing and a miss by Jacob Vaughn. Clark on over at first, 2 are away. Devon Anderson on deck. Here is the payoff pitch from John Dormanen. Out of the strike zone, walk issued. Clark will go to second. Vaughn the base runner at first. 6 bracket play spots, 3 in each division. In the American Division, Charleston, Missouri is in. In the National Division, Mid-County, Texas is 1, Moses Lake is 2. In the American Division, 2 spots to be decided today. In the National Division, 1. Conversation with John Dormanen. Again, there is your National Division. Where it gets really complex is when you get into the tie-breaking scenarios. And I say really complex, just got to do a little adding. And I guess if 2 teams then allowed the same number of runs, then you've got another tiebreaker scenario which talks about run differential. The easiest, the most cut and dried is a Blue Lick win, and Vancouver and Tucson can forget about it. It is the combo package that includes a Blue Lick loss that creates some interesting scenarios. Nothing in 1 on Devon Anderson. Devon Anderson with a walk and a balk. In the 3rd, got to first on the walk, got to second on the balk. Brandon Cluck has moved to the on-deck circle, nothing in 2. Regardless of what happens from this point on in the 4th, Mid-County, Texas claiming a bit of a victory here in the 4th. Outside of the strike zone, shout-out says, way to go, Clark. Shout-out to Mid-County boys and Marcus Foreman get the win. One ball, couple of strikes. Dormanen definitively slower on the hill with bases aboard, or base runners aboard. He zipped through the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and we are spending a substantial amount of time here in the bottom part of the 4th. Count goes even at 2. Sean Fanning, Mark Islas, Nano Vasquez do up when you get to the Tucson, Arizona 5th. Out of the strike zone again, and that is the 67th pitch from John Dormanen. 15 hits in the game. 10 of which belong to Pro Hammer, 5 of which belong to Mid-County, Texas, but 4 of the 5 Texas base hits happening here in the 4th. Runners go, pitch low, bases full. It is all loaded up for Texas for Brandon Cluck. And check that. That is Brandon Morse, who has checked into the lineup in the spot previously occupied by Cluck. So one Brandon for the other. As Brandon Morse comes in, and back on day 1, until we had home runs, this guy had hit the longest shot of the World Series. He hit it to deep left field, which is about 330 feet away. So here's a guy with the capability, with one swing of the bat, to tie the game at 7. And there is a rather large gap to right center. And that's got to be tempting to the right-hander, as he looks and sees Addison Ryberg skewed towards left and sees Carmona, well, pretty much standard positioning in right field, but it does create a gap to right center. 1-2 pitch. Thought about it, laid off of it, count even at 2. A request for an appeal. Dennis Duke asking Brian Streggy if Brandon Morse went. He did not. Here's the 2-2 offering from Dormanen. Just a little bit outside. And here's a dangerous spot for John Dormanen. You walk him, a run comes in. You put something in the strike zone and a chance it goes a long way. Instead, hit to short. Vasquez will scoop it up. Goes to first, gets Morse on the 6-3 put out, the bases left loaded. It could have gotten a whole lot closer, but it's still just a 4-run differential versus the previous 7. We head to the 5th on Jock Jive Sports.
Come along now, join the fun in beautiful Grant County, Washington. Our lakes just can't be beat, our friends you'll love to meet in beautiful Grant County, Washington.
Call 800-992-6234 or tourgrantcounty.com. Brought to you by the Grant County Tourism Commission.
Right here in the Columbia Basin, located in Moses Lake, we've got a locally owned, operated car rental agency with a great selection of late model clean cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. They do direct billing to insurance companies when that unexpected accident happens and your car is laid up for that little moment. They're open 6 days a week with a new building and new location. 15 years of service to the Columbia Basin. Advanced Rent-A-Car. Call them today, 765-39.
Top of the fifth, Sean Fanning starting things off. Mark Islas, Nano Vasquez due up in the inning 2. Thanks so much for all the shout-outs. Hey, thank you for the kind words, by the way. And also, one last we'll squeeze in since we officially have not started the 5th. Well, maybe 2 as I get another. Good luck, Cody Cobb, your sister watching from Mom's office in Beaumont. Ready for your plane ride to come. See ya. Love Kelsey, and way to go, Logan. Keep it going, Mid-County. Love Aunt Holly, Uncle B, Carly, and Cassidy from Port Neches, Texas. Thanks so much for all the shout-outs in the 3rd and 4th as we head to the 5th. All right, one more task that we will assign, and it is not mandatory, but requested, and that's we'll accept brand new Twitter followers. Hang on, don't do it yet. We'll do it in the 6th. Couple of pitches into the strike zone to Sean Fanning. Fanning has singled and doubled. 2 for 2 with a stolen base. Connor McGrath in relief of Cluck, who relieved Bumstead, popped up and drops into center field. That is the 11th Tucson hit of the game. And it has been a perfect day at the plate for Sean Fanning, as he delivers with a single here in the 5th. For Mid-County, Texas, they have part of their plan in place. They have plated runs, gotten rid of the goose egg. The other part of their plan, stop Tucson, Arizona from scoring, which has been a tough task over the last couple of innings. 4 runs in the 3rd, 3 runs in the 4th. For Tucson, it's rebuild the lead. It was 7, it's down to 4. Mark Islas, he has singled, he has popped out, 1 for 2 with a stolen base. By the way, thanks for watching the coverage wherever you may be doing so. Hit to 3rd, fielded by Clark, goes to 2nd for 1, throw not quite in time for 2 at 1st. Got the 5-4, but did not get the 5-4-3. 1 away for Nano Vasquez. Vasquez with a strikeout and a walk. He scored a run as part of that 3-run 4th. Bum getting the start. Worked 3 innings. Cluck came in and worked a 1/3 of an inning. McGrath finished up the 4th and now has officially got an inning's worth of work in. Count even, 1 apiece. And time called while Connor McGrath works on the wardrobe. Hashtag Babe Ruth WS back on the scoreboard. That's where you find all the highlights, the big plays from the World Series, already big plays from this game. Available on Facebook and Twitter. Put hashtag Babe Ruth WS in the search engine. But do a little more. You watch, then like, love, retweet, and share. Foul out of play. Another warm day here in Washington. .102 the expected high. There is cloth above the fans in the stands to try to break some of the heat, but when it's hot, it's warm no matter what. Found how to play. Our camera crew out of the heat, shaded a bit by the umbrellas provided, but they got the tough job dodging baseballs and getting shots of the game. It stays 2-2 on Vasquez. Addison Ryberg moving to the on-deck circle. Hey, don't forget about following us on Facebook. Trying to get to 10,500. A lofty goal I mentioned earlier that thought would have the 8 is there as a strikeout of Vasquez, 2 gone. The 8 of the guys down in Alabama doing the World Series there, but coverage canceled because of all the bad weather. So that means it's just us and you trying to get to the 10-5 mark, which is 296 away. So if you haven't already liked us on Facebook, please do. Put Jock Jive Sports in that search engine to find us. Jock Jive Sports. In towards Anderson. He will go back, reach up, make the catch. Left on is Islas. 4 go up, 3 go down. Nobody scores in the top part of the 5th. The game does indeed have a little bit of a feel of a momentum shift. We'll see if the bottom of the 5th continues that trend or if Pro Hammer hops right back into the driver's seat.
Sure, Trustology is about sharing our financial expertise and helping our clients succeed. But it's also about helping local families enjoy a more festive holiday season, making sure parents have the supplies they need, and giving local charities everything they can grab in 90 seconds. It's employees who have a passion for serving their neighbors and the communities they live in. When you see Washington Trust's crew in blue doing their thing, that's Trustology in action. See more at Trustology.
Bottom of the fifth, top of the order. Cody Cobb starting things off. Logan Lejeune. Chase Kemp 2 up in the inning 2. Those numbers beginning to balance out a bit. Dominantly skewed towards Tucson previously. But Nederland, Texas, kind of sneaking back into this one. New pitcher on the hill for Tucson. That is Addison Ryberg, who is now on the hill. And the new center fielder is Sean Fanning. He comes in from left. And the new left fielder is Wrigley McGuire, who comes in from first. So let's see who the new first baseman is. That is John Dorman, who comes off the hill. Dormanen will wind up working a total of 4 innings. He will face 20, give up a total of 5 base hits. Had 1 strikeout and a couple of walks. Gives up 3 runs. Dormanen will leave with a lead, hands the ball over to Addison Ryberg. And you again have been alerted as to the defensive changes. Ryberg now on the hill, Fanning now in center, McGuire now in left, and Dormanen now at first. Cody Cobb is 0 for 2 in the game. He has popped out to right field and ground out to the pitcher. Shoved over towards Vasquez, charges in, scoops up, throws on the run, not in time. Vasquez did everything that you could possibly do as a shortstop and did it right to get the ball over to first in time to get Cobb. But Cobb, with great speed, able to get aboard. And it's an infield single for Cody Cobb. Logan Lejeune 1 for 2. He is struck out and doubled. Opening game of the day turning into a lengthy one, an hour 42 in the 5th. Swing and a miss by Lejeune. We zipped right along through a couple of innings, but when the scores came, the time seemed to stall a bit. And you had 4 runs in the top of the 3rd, 3 runs in the top of the 4th for Tucson, 3 runs score in the bottom part of the 4th for Mid-County. Lejeune pops it up near first, backtracking Dormanen makes the catch. Cobb stays at first. 1 out for Chase Kemp. Chase Kemp had a grand slam in the World Series. And as a matter of fact, it is on Twitter and Facebook, hashtag Babe Ruth World Series. Indicative of what we like for all the clips. A lot of love, a lot of likes, a lot of retweets and shares. And of course, when you find the clips, be sure to like us and follow us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. But hang on the following us on Twitter, because in the 6th, we send out a little extra love to those who follow us in the 6th inning of each and every game. Count even, 1 apiece. Chase Kemp with a fly out to center field in the 1st, had a single in the 4th, has scored a run. Zach Freeze moves to the on-deck circle. Speaking of following us in the 6th, this Mid-County, Texas team last night in the 6th inning of a game in mass began to follow us. So we basically recognized about the whole team. Cobb's in trouble. Vasquez running back. And there you got the tag. And the tag laid on the back of Cobb by a new guy in the lineup. Now playing second, it is Brandon Ortiz. So Brandon Ortiz now in second and lays the tag on Cobb. Well, Cobb thought he might have an opportunity to get to third with the ball bounced away from catcher Keegan Graham. But gets tagged out, trying to dive into second, and Chase Kemp now with nobody on. And that great speed got Cobb on, but I guess sometimes great speed can cause problems, make you think you might be able to do things that you might not can do, as it did not bounce that far away from Graham. And Cobb, who obviously and understandably relies on the great speed, didn't have enough to get him there to second after it was retrieved quickly by Graf. Of course, you got the combo package, and that he also anticipated the ball rolling a little further away from Graf. Popped up, shallow left field. Adrian Madero will make the catch, and it turns into, despite the leadoff infield single, a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the fifth. We head to the sixth. New Twitter followers. We're going to show you some love the next inning here on Jock Jive Sports.
Hi, I'm a kid, and I am here to tell you why fruit is good for you. It is healthy for your muscles, your brain, your eyes, your heart, and your body. I've been sitting behind this big tray of fruit, and it looks so good, and it smells so good, and I haven't gotten one piece.
When your sport team has a great game or season, come celebrate your team's hard work at Lake Bowl in Moses Lake. Our Redemption Center game room is loaded with fun. Lake Bowl wants to help you recognize your team's accomplishments with fun and affordable packages. Bring your team in to eat, play, and have some fun. Team celebrations are a blast at Lake Bowl. Give us a call or visit our website for more information. Lake Bowl, Moses Lake's family entertainment center.
Bottom of the order, top of the sixth, Jesse Carmona will start things off for Tucson, Arizona. A 7-3 advantage. Tucson trying to keep their bracket play hopes alive. And the only way those hopes still have life is with a victory. And there's other variables that have to play a role too. But if you don't win, you're definitely not in. If you win, there's still a chance you're not in. But the victory is the first part of the plan if you are Tucson to get into bracket play. We are into the sixth. You know what we do in the sixth, right? Brand new followers on Twitter. If you follow us, we read out the Twitter handle in the sixth inning. All sixth inning long, just as a way of saying, hey, thank you very much. Go to Twitter, put @JockJive in the search engine, @JockJive, and then follow us, and we say thank you very much by reading out that Twitter handle. Nothing in one, and now nothing in two. As Carmona will foul it off over towards first. Carmona, a single, a stolen base, a run scored in the third, a walk, and a run scored in the fourth. Carmona responsible for a couple of the 7 runs on the board for Tucson. Connor McGrath, 0-2 pitch into the strike zone, and that'll do it for the Carmona at-bat. 1 away in the sixth. Back to the top of the order, DeMarco Vasquez coming to the plate. And they're on the scoreboard, @JockJive. That's what you search for on Twitter. Find us, follow us, and those Twitter handles, well, we'll start sending them out. Like this one, @_CB98. @_CB98. @Gil Cajun. G-U-I-L Cajun. At Gil Cajun or Gwil Cajun. Now following us on Twitter. Thanks so much. At James YB20. At James YB20. At my age, it's Robert, why not 20? But James YB20. Is the cheeseometer working, by the way, in the van? I haven't heard it lately. Popped up. And backtracking is Las June to make the catch, and out goes Vasquez. By the way, James in the van, our producer, who only I can hear, you cannot. But there's a cheeseometer, and when I register on the cheeseometer, he tells me I can't see it. He can. And just hadn't heard anything, but that got it, by the way. It apparently registered. More followers on Twitter at Pigtail77. At Pigtail77. Thank you very much for following Jock Jive. All 6th inning long. You follow us and we honor you. We say thank you. And there you have on the scoreboard how to follow us. Into the strike zone to Wrigley McGuire. One ball, one strike, 2 gone, nobody on, top of the 6th. McGuire hit into a 4-3. He walked and then hit into a 3-2. He's 0 for 2 with a run scored. Keegan Graff moving to the on-deck circle. 2-1 toss. And over towards first. And Kemp will watch it sail into center field, or make that right field. And the Kemp error is the responsibility for putting McGuire on. We've made it to the 6th and got our first error of the game. That is one thing we have had not a lot of, but I don't know that there have been many games during the World Series, and we are now into our 16th that have been error-free. Typically have at least a mistake. Keegan Graff steps in. Throw goes down to first. Diving in safely is McGuire. Graff with a couple of singles and a ground out. He's 2 for 3, an RBI and a run scored. More Twitter followers at Zach_Deckert. At Zach_Deckert. Thank you very much for following us. At BR Taylor 77. At BR Taylor 77. We appreciate you very much. High fly ball left field, and that will sail to the wall. That will hit up against the A of the Babe Ruth Baseball World Series. Graff sending it about as far as you could send it without it going out of the park. It will drive in McGuire. Jacob Vaughn, after it was hit, had no idea where it was. You see a fielder when they raise their palm skyward, and the shoulder shrug, that's an indicator that they don't know where that baseball is. And Keegan Graff will knock it up against the wall. It's an 8-3 game. The lead extends back to 5. And again, what this does, and the game's not over, by the way. You've got the bottom of the 6th and got the bottom of the 7th. Certainly not indicating that there's no Mid-County Texas comeback. There certainly could be. But if there is no comeback, and if Tucson wins it, it's bad news for Vancouver. Count even, 1 apiece on Adrian Madero. Madero has popped out, struck out, single, driven in a run, stole a base. John Dorman on deck. One ball, couple of strikes, 2 gone. Connor McGrath trying to wrap up the 6th high with a pitch, and the count will level off. Throw goes to second, and Graff able to get back safely. Yesterday, Cape Cod and Moses Lake finished pool play. Cape Cod at 2-2, Moses Lake at 3-1. And obviously today, the remaining 8 in pool play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 gone. Inside toss, throw goes to third, trying to get Graff stealing. He is in safely. The pitch was a ball, and the count runs full. Stolen base for Graff as Madero awaits the payoff pitch. More followers on Twitter at Brian Landry Dog, as in D-A-W-G, at Brian Landry Dog. Thanks for following. Popped up towards Anderson and right. Backtrack, then steps forward, makes the catch, puts it into the inning. But a double by Graff drives in another run. The lead is back to 5. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Freeze, Baydun, and McGrath coming up for Mid-County.
Since 1969, DK's Drive-In has been Ephrata's favorite spot for burgers, fries, sweet treats, and everything else in between. We are proud to continue the DK's tradition of serving our community with delicious food made to order. Come on in or swing through the drive-thru and see why DK's has been a staple of Ephrata for generations. DK's Drive-In at 805 Basin Street Northwest in Ephrata.
Lakeview Golf and Country Club. They're looking for new members, and now's the time to join. There's no initiation fee, and it's $175 a month. A great course, great people, and a professional that has instruction available. His name? Matt Campbell. Along with a good junior program, driving range and restaurant are available to the public. Come and try the good food with Amy Galloway and her staff, open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. Great course, great people at the Lakeview Golf and
Bottom of the 6th, Zach Freeze to start things off. Burke Baydun, Connor McGrath. Mid-County, Texas, if you're going to mount a comeback, probably should start now. I mentioned earlier that the scorekeeper here is responsible for our score. We tie into the scoreboard here in the park. That error should actually be charged to Mid-County, Texas. It was the E3 on Chase Kemp that got Wrigley McGuire on. First pitch popped up, left side, out of play. Runners left on. Tucson has left 8 aboard. Mid-County has left 5 on. In towards center field. And that's over. Sean Fanning goes to the warning track, and a leadoff double has Mid-County, Texas in business to begin the 6th. Don't forget, by the way, if you haven't followed us on Twitter, 6th inning to do it. We show you a little love by reading that Twitter handle at Jock Jive. That's our Twitter handle. That's where you'll find us on Twitter at Jock Jive. And again, you follow us in the 6th. We reserve it for the 6th only, but follow us in the 6th and we show you a little love, a little thank you. Base runner in scoring position, Zach Freeze for Burke Baydun. Baydun has popped out. He is doubled. Outside of the strike zone again, 2-0. Connor McGrath is on deck. This is a Mid-County, Texas squad that, sure, they'd like to get 5 runs, 6 runs here in the 6th, but if you can get to within a couple of runs, if you can make it an 8-6 ball game, maybe an 8-5 contest, going into the 7th and hold Tucson in the top part and score the necessary runs in the bottom part. That's manageable for this Texas team. Three and 1. Thanks again for watching. Ephrata World Series 2017.com, watching on jockjive.com, and watching on the Babe Ruth Facebook page. So you're either watching on one of the 3, or you could be watching on all 3. You could have the mobile device, could have the PC, could have the iPad. That is out of the reach of a diving Ortiz. Baydon driving in freeze. The single makes it an 8-4 contest. Connor McGrath coming to the plate with a base runner at first, and now an 8-4 contest. And it looks like Baydon is going to get a courtesy runner. That runner is Marcus Foreman. So Foreman has entered the contest as the runner for Baydon.
Number 4, Marcus Foreman.
4 for 14.
All right, James has told me that here's what he predicts someone is doing. Watching the game, 3 different spots. Roku for Jock Jive, the PC for AfredoWorldSeries2017.com, and the mobile device, Facebook, the page that belongs to Babe Ruth Baseball. And 2, we're trying to help Babe Ruth get 10,000 likes on Facebook as well. They were getting close. They were about 300 or 400 away last time I checked. So if you're going to watch on Facebook, heck, might as well go ahead and like them. Count even, 1 each on Connor McGrath. More new Twitter followers at EDOLIAD6. At EDOLIAD6. Thank you very much. At Nesser 1969. At Nesser 1969. We appreciate it so much. 1,041 followers, by the way. We appreciate it. I think we started the World Series right around 760-ish. Wrap towards Vasquez. Possibility of 2. Steps on the bag at second for 1. Throws into the dirt, but it takes a convenient hop right into Dormanen's mitt for 2. And McGrath wrapping into the double play for outs 1 and 2 as Zach Clark comes to the plate. An 8-4 game. 1 more out left to get a little love from us, for those who follow us on Twitter. And Jacob Vaughn moves to the on-deck circle. Into left field, a base hit, 2-out single. And that hit total beginning to climb for Texas. That is the 8th one of the game. And for Clark, he's 2 for 2. Came in for Bumstead, batting in the 4th. Had a single that drove in a run then. And now a single to get aboard here in the 6th. Jacob Vaughn next. He's hit into the 5-3 and walked. 0 for 1. Out of the strike zone, ball 1. Devon Anderson moving to the on-deck circle. When you get the 7th for Tucson, they will try to tack on some insurance. Unless, of course, Mid-County takes the lead with 2 gone. If they take the lead with 2 gone in the top of the 7th, Tucson will be trying to get the lead back. Couple of hours, 3 minutes in. Longest game of the World Series thus far was a 2-hour, 23-minute contest. I believe it was yesterday. Might have been the day before. Start to lose track of time. Madero drifts over into foul country and reaches up to make the catch to put the end to the Jacob Vaughn at bat. 1-run plates. Tucson is doubled up on Texas. They're going to the 7th, trying to add the lead on Jock Jive Sports.
Are your kids rough on your furniture? Things looking a little run down? Then come to More Furniture in Ephrata and we can help get things back in order. We have all the top name brands made with strong quality support, including Sealy Posturepedic mattresses, because whatever you do in bed, Sealy supports it. The next time your furniture is in need of some replacing, stop into More Furniture in Ephrata, locally owned and trusted for over 100 years.
Just about all White Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. Way into the 7th, John Dorman starting things off. Dorman in 1 for 3. Sean Fanning, Mark Islaz due up in the inning as well. Hey, thanks so much for the new followers on Twitter. We appreciate it very much. Great to have you as one of the now 1,043 following us on Twitter. And you know that we are going to keep you updated with the stuff that we're doing, scores, schedules, and more, both on Facebook and on Twitter. Well, let's focus on baseball in the 7th. John Dorman, and exclusively so, by the way. An inning in which Tucson, Arizona wants to build the lead, hold it in the bottom part of the inning and win it, and hope for a Vancouver victory. But here's what you've got, somewhat of a battle of the mental state. Because the irony to it is, if you're looking at the pure mental state of the ball game, and apparently hit by the pitch is Dorman, and he will go to first. And yep, got him right there on the toe. Dorman is going to request steel-toed cleats after that pop from McGrath. Base runner on for Sean Fanning. But I guess if you were looking at the game from a purely mental perspective, the irony to a Tucson, Arizona victory is that it boosts their mental morale while it diminishes the mental morale of the team that they've got to have win, that being Vancouver. Because a Tucson, Arizona victory assures that Vancouver doesn't have a chance. So if you're Tucson, you hope for the win, and then you hope that Vancouver plays the spoiler role, because they would have nothing else to play for. Of course, that would likely be enough. The desire to pick up a victory before the World Series comes to an end. And maybe a little added incentive for Blue Lick. I mean, they've obviously got the incentive to win regardless. If they do, they are in. Popped up over in the direction of left field, and again, some problems for Jacob Vaughn in picking that one up. It is hazy and smoky, and when that ball goes high into the air, I'm sure it does indeed blend in to the colors of the sky. They are not blue, and they're not gray because of clouds. They are actually a tint that's probably similar to that little white baseball. And at least on 2 occasions, Jacob Vaughn has had problems picking up something headed his direction. Counting him at 2 on Sean Fanning. He's been perfect on the day. Couple of singles and a double and 3 trips to the plate. Mark Islaz on deck, high pitch. Maybe one of the more surprising aspects of today's baseball is that Blue Lick, who probably by their own admission has not played well in the last couple of games. Walk issued by Fanning. Yet they are the team that all they got to do is win. win their game today against Vancouver, and they are into bracket play, despite the fact that their last 2 games have ended early because of the mercy rule. Couple of base runners on, 1 hit by a pitch, Dormanen, 1 walked, Fanning. And now Mark Islas, who is 1 for 3 with a stolen base, steps in. Of course, Blulick also involved in our Facebook drama. All in fun, by the way, as it is fouled off. Coming in from third to call it dead is Jeremy Cranston, or actually that is Jim Burns. Going back to when we were trying to hit 10,000 earlier in the week. By the way, all in fun. Third is ripped up now, by the way, and that's why we've got a delay in play. This twice happened to second. And now third has been ripped up. That didn't take long. Blue didn't need the maintenance crew. Just a little umpire and coach got it done. But now the maintenance crew is saying, no, wait a minute. We have standards. And now they have come out to examine. And Josh says, okay, yeah, that's good now. I mean, we had to do a little extra dirt digging. So you can't do it with your hand. And that's part of the reason the crew came out, because you just cannot. You got to have the special little tool that digs in, and it gets rid of all the dirt. The hand only gets rid of a little dirt. The tool, which is required, mandated, gets rid of all of it. On the inside part of the plate to Mark Islas. And we're kind of joking at third, but I really like the way this maintenance crew, you can watch them work, especially on the infield, and it is almost like they're loving this field. They're caressing it. They're doing all those little extras to make sure it is pristine before the start of a game. That grass, a lot of high school parks, you probably cut it once a week. I bet they cut it every day or so. It is wanted every day. Islas, a strikeout victim, 1 away in the top of the 7th. This dirt down the baseline, that's newly installed dirt, by the way. We wrap up the day, and the ground crew is prepping the field, and you're thinking, okay, what they're doing is they're prepping the field. They go home, they catch some wings, and then they can get here about a half hour ahead of time. Nope. They are here early in the morning as well. So coming out to make sure third is where it's supposed to be is something you do when you love the field. It is ripped into center field. Brandon Ortiz, and then the bobble in center field by Cobb, and that is going to get Dormanen in. It allows Sean Fanning to dive into third, and Ortiz with his first base hit of the game and first plate appearance is over at first. And now you've got another error charged to Texas. That Cobb bobble in center field. And it's what allows Fanning to get to third. Addison Ryberg coming to the plate. When he started the game, he was playing center field. He comes to the plate here in the 7th as the pitcher of record. Jesse Carmona moves to the on-deck circle. Count evens up 1 apiece on Addison Ryberg. 1 for 3 is Ryberg. He has popped out twice to right field and single. The single sandwich between the two pop-outs in the 2nd and 5th innings. Batting here in the 7th. In a 1 hour, 14-minute game, I make that 2 hours and 14 minutes, which means likely this is going to become our longest game of the World Series. High with the pitch. I think 2 hours, 23 minutes is our previous long. We are 9 minutes away from that. Over to one's right. That is a base hit that brings in some more insurance. Sean Fanning will come in on the Ryberg single. And the lead is back to 6 for Tucson. Their largest lead of the game was 7. Jesse Carmona coming to the plate. And it looks like Connor McGrath may not face Jesse Carmona. Let's see if the conversation between coach and pitcher includes a pull. Well, there's some hand clapping, which often is a form of encouragement versus say, you know, hey, that's a hand of applause for the work you've done, now go to the bench. It's typically a hand of applause to say, okay, get after it. Yep, some thumbs up in the Tucson, Arizona dugout. Sean Fanning got to be pretty pleased with the performance his squad has come up with in this one. They had to have a win, and they are getting closer to doing just that, barring a rally by Mid-County in the bottom of the 7th. Now they've got to have a Vancouver win. In towards Cobb in center field. He will go over to his right, make the catch. Runners will hold, and there's 2 away. Carmona with a fly out as we go back to the top of the order. DeMarco Vasquez next. Well, there again is your playoff scenario. It's cut and dried for Blue Lick. Win and they're in. The Tucson win and a Blue Lick loss is what would get Tucson in. Vancouver, well, unless there is a rally in the bottom of the 7th, they're out. Only way they can fit into the scenario is if Tucson wins and then if Vancouver beats Blue Lick. But if Mid-County does not come back, then Vancouver will drop out of the scenario to get in the National Division. That American Division's got some dilemmas as well. 1 ball, 1 strike on DeMarco Vasquez. Here is your American Division. A little more cut and dried. And Ephrata win, they and Cape Cod in. A Mount Olive win, you go to the tiebreaker to determine the 2 and 3 spots in the American Division. And that tiebreaker is runs allowed. And right now in the runs allowed department, the edge would go to Ephrata. And then you'd have to look at the number of runs allowed between Cape Cod and Mount Olive. The interesting thing is, as this one is hit to third, and over to the bag goes Clark on the force out to get the last out in the inning. The interesting aspect of that is the Mount Olive win does put it into a 3-way tie, but you've got to win by a specific margin, really, if you're Mount Olive to get in. We are going to the 7th, the bottom part of it, here on Jock Jive.
Golfers, challenge yourself this season at Gamble Sands in Brewster, Washington, just 33 miles from Lake Chelan. Hi, Kevin Calabro here. You know, every Gamble Sands round is a fabulous bucket list experience. Gamble Sands was designed by David McClay Kidd, author of The Bandon Dunes. Go to GambleSands.com and take a look at this place. You'll see why Golf Digest and Golf Magazine recognize Gamble Sands as the best new course of 2014. Certainly is mine. Make your tee times now at GambleSands.com.
We enter the bottom of the 7th. Mid-County, Texas, already in the National Division is the 1 spot. Tucson, Arizona, a chance to get in with a victory. They're going to hang around, I guarantee you, and watch the Blue Lick Vancouver game. And they're going to be cheering for Vancouver. It is not that often that you cheer for an opponent in your same division in pool play, but I assure you that they will be in the next ball game. Hit to Vasquez, and Anderson out on the 6-3. Of course, they may head somewhere nearby and watch the game on the big screen and the small screen and the mobile device. I just assure you they're going to be watching the game. Brandon Morse coming to the plate. Cody Cobb will move to the on-deck circle. Into the strike zone, nothing in 1. And of course, if you're watching the game of baseball for the Babe Ruth World Series, and if Tucson gets in, I know it's a different set of circumstances. You're in bracket play versus pool play, and the stakes are certainly far higher for Texas, but just on virtue of a win, you're thinking again that you got parity 1 through 3. Two-1 toss into the strike zone. Count evens at 2. And if Mid-County loses, then Charleston, Missouri would become the only team out of 10 that has a chance to finish unbeaten. They are 3-0. Again to Vasquez. And Vasquez again to Dormanen. 2 away. And, you know, if you're playing in a meaningless game, and that's what Charleston is going to be doing today. They're playing in a meaningless game. So maybe nobody finishes unbeaten today. With a Tucson, Arizona win, the game becomes meaningless to Vancouver. Very meaningful to both Tucson and Blue Lick. So it'll be interesting to see how that is approached mentally for Vancouver coming up next. Rolled over towards Ortiz. He will send it to first and get the out on the 4-3. And this ball game over 1 hour and make that 2 hours and 22 minutes in. So we get this one wrapped up 1 minute shy of being the longest game of the World Series. Maybe a bit of a surprise to some as Tucson, Arizona wins it and wins it decisively. 10-4 your final score. Tucson still got a chance. They need a Vancouver win in the game coming up against Blue Lick. That is right at 45 minutes from now. For Texas, didn't matter. They got tomorrow off. They will play in the semifinals on Friday. Thanks so much for watching our coverage. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thanks to our camera crew. iFiber providing the young men and ladies who operate the cameras. James Crenshaw has been your producer. I am Robert Williamson. Thank you for watching Jock Jive Sports.
Around 2 o'clock. At this time, we'd like to present Ron Phelps Players Games Award named after Babe Ruth late CEO and president, who's